Welcome to the Geological Time Frame by Ralph, right here in Whittier.
Hi there guys, my name's Ralph, and I'm going to be showing you about the geological time frame. Basically what happened in the Paleozoic time, the Cenozoic, and Mesozoic times, in that order. So why don't you follow along with me in the journey and I can describe to you what happened in this vast earth that we live in today. What is the Cambrian period? It's the first geological time frame that occurred in the Paleozoic era. Basically, this was the time of ancient life. Among these animals that evolved during this period were the chordates, animals with dorsal nerve cords, hard-bodied brachiopods, so on and so forth. I'll show you a video of basically what happened in that region. Well then, after the Cambrian effect, what basically occurred is the Ordovician effect, or the era, not the effect, I'm sorry. And it's a period lasting almost 45 million years ago. It's best known for its diverse marine invertebrates, including graptolites, tribotites, rhodioids, and conodons. All these interesting things, plus red and green algae, primitive fish, cephalopods, corals, everything grew. More recently, tetrahedral spores that are similar to the primitive land plants have been found, suggesting that plants invaded the land at the time. So basically you have a diverse culture of basically plants, new forms of plants growing with the weird amphibious creatures. Or the Silurian period. Basically what happens during the Silurian period, the climate was generally warm and stable, and in contrast to the glaciers of the land after the Ordovician. And the extreme heat of the development takes place during that time. The arrival of the photosynthetic organisms that could cling onto the rocks and basically use sunlight to create food. And this is when organic matter from decaying lichens joined the action of erosion to wear away rock. The first real soil began to build up, and that's what basically gives us the soil we have today. So an example of it would be basically stuff like this. Yeah, just dirt.
The first significant adaptive radiation of life on dry land occurred during the Devonian time. Free-spawning vascular began spread across dry land, forming extensive forests which covered the continent. By the middle of the Devonian, several groups of plants had evolved leaves and true roots. And by the end of the period, the first sea-bearing plants appeared. Various terrestrial arthropods also became well established. Fish reached substantial diversity during this time, leading the Devonian to often be dubbed.
Now the Carboniferous is famed for having the highest atmospheric oxygen levels, which in this case plants use it to create it. They use carbon monoxide to create it. And the earth has ever experienced, and for the evolution of the first-time reptiles such as lizards and so forth. Plants grew and died at such a great rate that they eventually became coal. The period was originally called the Coal Measures, after its proliferation of coal-bearing rock. Which brings us to the Permian period, which ended with the large mass extinction of the earth that has ever known. It began about 299 million years ago. The emerging supercontinent of Pangaea presented severe extremes of climate changes. And basically what happened is the south was cold and arid, with much of the regions frozen under ice caps, and other northern hemispheres areas with increase to intense heat and then drop down to freezing conditions. It's crazy. Basically, the creatures you just saw, they all died, perished. That's it. The time frame that everyone is there's a lot of interesting facts that come from it. The Mesozoic. Basically, where dinosaurs were. And at that time, basically you would see creatures more reptile-like, like with short limbs, mostly known as the Tyrannosaurus rex. Go like this, you know, stuff like that. And then after that happens, then you at the very end, basically everybody dies off. There's a big explosion that occurs, or a catastrophe. They don't know. All right. So now we're into the Cenozoic. Basically, this is the area where first large mammals and primates were basically getting developed, and mammals abound. Rodents appear too. Take a look at it. You got these monkeys, lemurs, gorillas, chimpanzees, everything.